Morning everybody, welcome to a nice British wet rainy day. Today we're going to do Aiden's thermostat.
We've got suspected overheating, so we're just going to have a look at thermostat and change that, see if that can resolve the situation.
It's a bit of a, as you know about cam belts, it's a little bit fiddly and a bit sort of time consuming, so we're going to set a day aside for that. But yeah, so we'll crack on with the job and we'll cut in and out as we go. Right, this is young Aiden doing his thermostat.
So I'm doing the bits.
He's still learning, so
yeah, still in the process.
Still in the process of learning. It's all a learning process, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So I prefer him to do things on his own car. So when he's driving it around, he can actually say, "I did that." So. It's probably been there since it's been new. So.
No, it's having none of it.
Right, I've got tools lined up. So take the bolts right.
That should, in theory, put that in my hand.
Try and lift that off. Keep going. Yeah, keep going. Lovely sound of the rain, isn't it, eh?
Beautiful day.
Right,
There
okay,
we go.
take it away. Take it out. Work as it's meant to work. Yeah? That's why there's an arrow there telling you which way it's got to go. So always remember which way it's come out, okay? I don't know if you can see that on the camera there. There it is. There's an arrow there, okay? And you've got a little bleed, like a little toggle thing there, yeah? Alright?
Yeah.
Right, got the thermostat out. Obviously that's the old one. This is the new one. This one has actually got an arrow on it to tell you which way it's going to go, but I'm going to go the same way with that little toggle wobble in there on the left hand side. I'm going to put it in the same way as this one came out. So it's on the same side, basically in the same position. What we have found by testing them, that one is really movable. This one, the original one, or the one that's came out, that is like, that's solid, that's hard. So obviously that's taking longer to actually open, or not opening at all, because that's so tight that that's got to really get hot to push that open. So you can see by this one, look, it's really easy to push up and down. So obviously the two tolerances between the two are really noticeable, and that's without even putting them in hot water to test out the opening temperature of the thermostat. So I don't think we need to do that, but sometimes when you get a thermostat and they feel both the same and look both the same, it's always probably best to put it in like a glass of like hot water, or a bowl of hot water with a string, dang it off of a string, drop it into the bowl of water, and then you can actually see the thermostat opening, which is this bit inside of the middle here. That opens up, which obviously lets the water through, flows up in between there, which gives you your circulation. The moment that doesn't open up, this bit here, same as on the other one, the moment that doesn't open up, or it's taking too long to open up, that's where you get your overheating from. So we're going to have a bit of a clean up. We've managed to get some of the water out of it. We're going to have a bit of a clean up, put it back in, run it up, and then see what we got. I think, yeah. Then we're gonna drain it and give it a right good flushing. Right, what I've done is I've given this a little bit of a clean up. I haven't gone too mad with it because it's only alley. You've probably come across it yourself before anyway. I've given it a little bit of a clean up just so everything can locate properly without any problems really, so it can all seal a bit better. Obviously once it all gets disturbed, you know, when you put stuff back, it may tend to leak obviously, especially with alley because it gets like sort of like an alley growth on it, I call it. So anyway, I've given that a bit of a clean down. I've also done the bolts as well, and as you'll see through later videos and different stuff that we get up to, I always put everything back together with grease, just in case I need to go back there again and it all comes undone without a problem. I haven't touched the underneath because that is crucial that remains as flat as possible. So all I've done is give it a slight, very slight rubber with some very fine sandpaper, just to get just a little bit of residue off, obviously where it had been sitting there with the other thermostat inside it. So if you're ever going to do this job, make sure that you keep this face as flat as possible. You don't want to start digging it out with anything or rubbing it down or getting a big wire drill in it or something like that, because obviously once that gets distorted, that's going to leak, and then you're going to be trying to stick loads of gasket sealant around it and all the rest of it to try and hold the water in here. So we don't really want to do that. So yeah, that's generally what we tend to do when we take stuff off. Give it a bit of a clean up. I don't want to go, as I say, I don't want to go too mad with it. It's only like alley, so but it looks better than it did when it came off, and hopefully when it all goes back on, it'll go back on without any problems. Right, Aiden's got the new thermostat just about to go in. Right, you know how to put it in?
Yes.
Don't forget, guys and girls, Aiden is still in the learning process, so everyone's got to start somewhere.
Exactly that. Twist that around a little bit.
And make sure that line's facing the driver, basically, yeah, straight on. And
Does that look relatively straight to you?
Yep, and you've got the little bleeders basically in the same place as the other one came out. So so we'll go with that. Is that you've put one of the sides that goes on the housing through the stress, yeah. So when you start doing these up, make sure you've got equal pressure going on either side as you're doing it. Okay, so give that a couple of turns. Give this one a couple of turns, then that one, then that one, then that one, until they get basically as tight as each other, yeah, and then not over tighten them either, because it's only alley and you can strip the threads inside there and then we're in trouble. Okay,
Don't want that.
No, we don't want that, of course we don't want that. Yeah, so when you're putting these bolts back in the head, if you do them so you've just got a little bit of bolt sticking out from the bottom like that, yep, where are we? Wait a minute. That's it. So it just makes it easier when you put this back on. You can actually locate both the holes because you won't be able to see where they are. But if you leave a little bit of bolt sticking out from this side,
feel it.
like that, you can actually sort of locate it and you'll feel it drop in. Okay?
Yeah.
And then, like I said before, do them up equally and see how we go with that. If you feel as though it's not going in, wiggle this about a little bit so it locates itself. Yeah, so you should be able to feel it bite. Move it about a little bit so you can feel it. And just feel it drop in.
Yes, yeah, I feel it.
Yeah, you got it?
I think I've got it.
And everything, yeah. Just makes it, when you've got to go there again, it just makes it so much easier to half the aggro is trying to get things off most of the time. How's that going?
That's feeling relatively tight.
Okay, then get the ratchet on it and then start doing equal turns. Okay?
Yep.
Right, I decided to take over doing the bolts up. Well, Aidan got them in as far as he dared. He was a little bit worried about over tightening them because obviously, like I said before, it's only alley and it is very easy to strip. So he was a little bit worried, but it's all a learning process. We've all got to start somewhere. So yeah, that seems tight enough.
Right.
Yeah, it's good. what we'll do is we'll get the pipes back on, put a little bit of water back in there, and then we'll run it up and see what we get.
Let's see from there. Just going to put some water in so we can test our pipes.
Yeah, it's going to be, when it gets in the right bit, it's just going to be water for a minute because we're going to drain the system once we know it's all up and running. We've got no airlocks and the thermostat's doing what it should do, and then we're going to drain it all out, put some antifreeze in it, and then all good to go. That should do, mate, I think. There's a maximum line. There's a maximum line there that we generally go to. I normally go just over the half the where the bottle joins together on the seal there, and you'll virtually about there. So yeah, leave the cap off for a minute.
Put battery on it.
Start it up. Get the battery on it. Battery's been on charge overnight, so we've got plenty of charge. And then get the heaters blowing. Get some heat blowing through it straight away.
Yep.
And then we'll check for any leaks. And then we'll keep an eye on the temperature and see what we've got. Right, I hope you can hear me over the engine noise. I know from a couple of previous videos it's been a bit hard to hear me. Well, I've got some microphones that we're going to get going. I've actually got them, but we need to sort them out and get them installed on the phone. Right, so what we've done is, as you can hear, we've started it up. The reason for leaving the cap off is to let any air that is in the system pass out through the expansion bottle without causing any problems. So if there is a little bit of air that's going to be coming out through the pipes, it can actually disperse through the expansion bottle, so it doesn't give us any problems. So what we'll do is we'll check to see if there's any bubbles that come up, put the heater full on inside the car, and hopefully all good. Right, so the real test will be, we're on halfway now, as you can see. That's with the heaters all blowing, so obviously it's being constantly cooled. So what we're going to do now, we're going to turn the heaters off. So the engine's got to rely on its own fan and its cooling system to actually cool itself down. So at the moment it's got the fans blowing, as you can hear. And then we'll switch everything off, just leave it running, ticking over, probably give it a few hard revs just to get it circulating, and then see where we go from there. So let's just turn that off. That's it. Sorry guys and girls, the noise of the engine, obviously we're keeping it revving at about 2,000 revs. We've got the heater switched off inside the car, so there's no actual heat being dispersed from the engine, so it's all going to be done by its own fan. As you can probably see over where the expansion bottle is, you can see where the water's actually come up inside itself. I felt all around the expansion bottle, that's not hot at all, it's not boiling up, there's no pressure inside there. Well, a little bit of pressure, you're going to get a little bit of pressure anyway, but it's not boiling hot. It seems to be circulating alright. The temperature is still halfway inside the car, so we're going to leave it like that for a little while. We're going to let it tick over, no heater on, nothing like that. Then we'll check for some leaks, make sure there's nothing leaking, and hopefully this job's a good one. Oh right, there goes the fan. Working properly. Right, just to check down, make sure we haven't got anything that's going on. Don't look like that. Right, we're still halfway. Engine's nice and hot, the fan's been cutting in and out, as you may have heard. If you are taking on this job and you're a little bit unsure, when you actually get in the car and you run it up after you've put a thermostat in, or you've done something to the cooling system that's actually let water out and let air in, that's the fan going off again, which is doing its job. A sure way of knowing or thinking you've got a airlock in the system is when you actually get in the car and the car's running up to temperature like it is now, as you can see, and you put the heater on. If the heater's blowing out cold air but the engine seems to be running at its temperature, that's a sure sign of you've got air in your system. So you've got an airlock somewhere in your system. So when you do undertake a job, taking pipes off, changing thermostats, or anything to do with the water system, the best thing to do is to jump back in the car, start it up, put your heater full on, get it circulating, make sure you've got hot air coming out the heater vents, and the temperature's up to halfway, and then it's a sure sign you haven't got any air in your system. But as I say, once again, if you've got cold air coming out of these vents and the car is running on normal temperature and it's blowing cold air and the engine's hot, then you've got air in your system, which it's going to need bleeding. Well, that's the end of the video for today. Hope you've enjoyed what you've been watching. Hope it wasn't too boring for you. But as I say,
Like, share and subscribe.
everybody's got to learn somewhere. He's learning.
Such
He's
a-
new to it all. So yeah, I hope it wasn't too boring for you. Everything seems to be okay. The car's running. It's got its temperature. It's not overheating. So yeah, that was the cause of the overheating, was the thermostat.
Job well done.
Yeah, job well done. The hints and the tips that we put in the videos that we show is only what we come across and what we get up to. If you're unsure about anything that you see or hear us talking about, and you're unsure about it, please consult a qualified person that can help you out. Other than that, I can help you out with some answers to some questions. If you've got any questions, I can only give you my ideas, and it's only my ideas. Take from that what you want to take, but if you're really unsure, seek a qualified person to help you out. So, thanks very much for watching. Hope it wasn't too boring. See you in the next one.